What's going on, game players? How are you brothers and sisters doing? I want to welcome you guys to Listener Feedback, episode number 26. And in this episode will be starring One Subset Tekken. Shout out to you, brother, for being here. It is really appreciated. We also have the OG coming back for another week, Cody Clark. Shout out to you, brother. I was so glad to see your emails this week when they popped up, and I can't wait to get into them, my good brother. And up next, making his return after a small hiatus, we have Sir William X back in the building. Shout out to you too, brother. I saw you sent me a lengthy email, my good man, and I can't wait to get into it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for writing in, and to you, the listener, for checking out the podcast and being here yet again. Thank you guys so much. Now, speaking of you, the listeners, if you want to be a part of the next upcoming listener feedback, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice, man, that ain't work out, but let your voice be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is simply the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Also, two things before I jump into the emails. I want to shout out Gen X Gamers. That is a Facebook group that you guys can join if you want to, find other people to play games with, to hook up, and choose different times to be online with certain people. It's a great group to go over to and check out and, make new friends and, find people that have the same gaming interests as yourself. Like maybe someone likes Battlefield, somebody might be playing It Takes Two, or Call of Duty, Warzone. It's a great place to go to, man, just to make some good gaming connects, to, find someone that has the same gaming interests as yourself. And with that being said, too, if you want to join the Analog Circle Facebook group, just go over to Facebook, type in the Analog Circle, and it's there. It'll be great to have you join. Be happy to have you. The group would be happy to have you as well. And with that, I do want to shout out to Lawrence Jones. This brother, man, gotta give you a round of applause, man. Good grief. Lawrence Jones, that brother is in the group constantly posting news stories, man. I mean, matter of fact, I've gotten a couple of stories from him that I've covered on the podcast. So I just wanted to let you know, brother, thank you so much for the hard work. It truly means a lot because you don't have to do it, but you do, man. And I just want to say really, truly, and surely, thank you so much for your efforts, good brother. But with that being said, though, not wasting, too much of you guys' time. I want to try to get you guys out of here in a timely fashion. I want to go ahead and get into the first email, which is coming to us from One Subset Tekken. Now, the title of his email is, I Can Be Short to EA. He says, hello, Kiaun. I hope all is well. Hey, brother, you know me. I'm striving and surviving, man. He says, you asked, do we buy used or new games? I personally buy new games from the PS2 generation moving forward. He says, I want to support these developers to make more of the games I enjoy playing. I understand the used game market has its place if funds are low or it's a dead system. The only time that I think hard about buying a used game is if it's an EA game. His brother don't like EA, man. He says, I've made it no secret my dislike for EA between them buying the NFL to force us to play Madden. Oh, that is a sore spot for me too. I hate that. I hate it. He says Madden, when 2K had the better game, and them canceling Thrill Kill. Whoo! Thrill Kill, brother. Oh my gosh. Hey, man. Hey, brother. Now that takes me back to a time. What was that like in the 90s? Thrill Kill. Thrill Kill was one of those games. I remember seeing that in either. It was a EGM magazine, or it might have been a Next Generation magazine. I can't remember which one exactly, but that game was really something, man. It looked like it was going to be an amazing fighting game. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, one sub said, but wasn't that supposed to be a 4-player fighting game at one time? And it looked amazing. It looked absolutely incredible. And at the time, oh shucks, man, you bringing back so many memories here, brother. Here in Baltimore, we have this flea market called Patapsco. It's called Patapsco Flea Market. And out there was a guy who used to sell video games. And this guy, he was selling illegal copies. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't buy any illegal copies. I can honestly say that because I didn't want burnt discs that weren't the real thing. That was just a thing of mine that I've never been okay with. But for some reason, this guy actually had Thrill Kill. Now, I don't know how he got it. I don't know what loops and hoops he went through, but he had it on display showing it, but he was selling it for way too much money, and I couldn't afford it. I don't know how he got it, but he had it, man. And I think that Thrill Kill, and correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, if I might be wrong about this too, didn't that get turned into the Wu-Tang game, Wu-Tang Shaolin style or something like that, where that was a fighting game as well? I don't know. I think that's what happened, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But let me get back to your email. God dog, Thrill Kill, you took me to a time and a place. God dog on one subset. But let me continue. He says, and the way they gobbled up other studios and break them and shut them down. Yeah, they don't do too well with the studios, brother. He says, BioWare, you are really on notice. You are maybe 2 failed games from being canceled. Hey, man, look, listen, they've had 2 big flops. I gotta agree with you here, one subset. I mean, they had Mass Effect Andromeda. That didn't work out well for them. They had Anthem. That definitely didn't work out well for them either. What I'm hoping happens is with this Mass Effect remastered, I'm hoping that will kind of start to gain back the traction of what BioWare used to be. Hopefully that happens, because I agree. EA, if you keep on having too many flops, they will shut you down and dismantle your team. So let me see, what else do you have here? He says, I know it's all a business, but EA to me is just the worst. He says, I'll buy their games used in a heartbeat. I might buy Mass Effect or Titanfall new, but that's where it ends. I felt, yeah, that's what's up. And that goes back to your point again, how you want to support these developers, how you want to see them continue to make the games that you want to play. And me, myself, I would love another Titanfall. So yeah, if another one was to come out, I would do the same thing. Buy it brand new, make it a point to buy it brand new. And, of course, Mass Effect, if they made another one of those, because I'm buying the remaster, brand new as well. All of the games I've bought, I've been blessed enough to be able to have the money to buy them new. But just to your point, yeah, I would want to show support to these guys as well. He says, I felt this way since the 90s. If there is a sale or something like yourself and I really want it, I'll pull the trigger. Bang, bang, brother. That's right. He says, support the game companies that you enjoy and that make games. Oh, hold on. And that make games that you want to play. He says, I've talked enough. As always, here it comes, brother. Here it comes. As always, wash your face, hands, and butt, and please wear a mask. Peace. Man, let me tell you something. One subset is always fantastic, man. I'm telling you, every time you write it, it's great to hear from you, brother. And it seems like here in your email, you're saying, look, I love buying my games brand new. I love supporting these guys, supporting the developers, letting them know you have my support so that will make them able to give me some of the same games that I want to play, get some sequels to. But when it comes to EA, jokers just be doing people dirty, and it's something that you do not want to support. So if you can find their games on sale, find them used, then that's what you're going to do. You're going to get them that way. But I will say though, man, like you said, Mass Effect and Titanfall, you get them the benefit of the doubt, maybe, but that's where it ends. So I definitely understand that, and I can respect that, man. And to me, this is the best way to do it. I mean, people that get upset up in arms on Twitter, don't get me wrong. Sometimes that stuff is necessary. It's needed, and it does help change things around. I mean, we've had it happen twice this year so far when it came to PlayStation shutting down the PlayStation Vita store and the PlayStation 3 store. A lot of people were very, very vocal, and Jim Ryan saw that and he said, well, you know what? We're going to keep it open. Right now is not the time to close it down. We were mistaken. But that came from people complaining and letting their voice be heard, as it were. And then we saw what happened with Microsoft earlier. What was that, January or February sometime, where they were about to raise the price of Xbox Live Gold, and people got upset, let them know, no, that's not what we want. This is ridiculous. And they heard it, and they took it into consideration. Well, they ain't take it into consideration. They did it. They had went back on that and even came out one better by having online play be free to play with free to play games. So it's definitely necessary to, voice your opinion and let people know how you feel. Well, let these companies know how you feel, but at the same time, it definitely hurts them the most when it comes to their bottom line being affected, and that's you actually giving them money to for their product. So voting with your wallet also plays a major part too. The two go hand in hand, so to your point, I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more, brother. But thank you so much. Once again, one subset Tekken for this email. And like I said, I believe you had one more here. Yes, you do. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into Mr. Cody Clark's email next, which is entitled A Guy on the Series S. He says, somebody besides me extolling the value and worth of the S series. As far as the X series goes, it is being used by my roommate to replace his Scorpio. The thing is clearly a beast, but truth be good, save for more Wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute here, Cody. Hold on. He says, but truth be good, save for more storage and just native 4K on his much larger and more expensive the Samsung TV. Man, I hope I'm reading this right. He says blacks are so much better on his TV. Yeah, I hear everybody talk about the black levels on TVs, brother. I'm just not that technically TV savvy, brother, to understand. But hey, I'm gonna take your word for it there, Cody. He says there isn't much else to say. We play some of the same games, but he wants constant frames, not super high frames. So it's a great system. But unless you are going deep into the full 4K 120 hertz refresh rate TV market, you can tick 9 out of 10 boxes getting a Series S. Wow, that's interesting. He says, that is my official stamp. Have a great weekend, K. Cody. I appreciate that, brother. Golly, is the S really that comparable to the X, where unless you have a 4K TV, full, I got to quote, full 4K 120 hertz refresh rate on your TV, that, you're pretty much not seeing that big of a difference with the S. 9 out of the 10 boxes, the S checks that it, man, brother. Wow. Now, I wasn't expecting that. Not at all. So that little buddy is doing some things, huh, Cody? Good grief. Very, very interesting. Hey, brother. Oh, just so you know, yeah, I did have a great weekend, man. I'm recording this. It is, it's Wednesday. Looks like it's about to be Thursday. It's 11:25 p.m. God dog. I got to be to work in about 3 or 4 hours. Oh, shucks. Let me kind of speed this up. But Cody, I appreciate you getting back to me, man. Letting me know, your thoughts and opinions about the X, and saying that the S you still stand by the S pretty strong. Very, very interesting. All right, brother. Did you send me another one? Yes, you did. Okay, so matter of fact, yeah, your email is up next. You got another one right here. That's it. Now the title of this email that you sent, brother, is called Competitive Edges. He says, EA purchased the right to, oh shucks, you look like EA is on a hot seat this week. Golly. First one subset now, Cody. He says EA purchased the right to exclusively handle all NFL titles and for a time all Star Wars games. Nintendo paid Sega. Oh, no, he ain't going in on EA. Okay. He says Nintendo paid Sega so they could have Bayonetta 2 all to themselves. Sony gives Capcom $4 million and says no game streaming or sharing Resident Evil 8, Res 8 on our competitors. I mean, Microsoft bought Bethesda. That is a lot more cheese on their pizza. How many billions was that? $7.5 billion. That was a heck of a doggone investment. Now he says, what do I know? Is the JDM, meaning Japanese domestic market, thank you for teaching me something, brother, tends to support its own. It has been that way through all of the generations of Xbox. Let us be real. If Capcom is willing to be at Sony's beck and call for $4 million, that says there is a lot going on behind the scenes. That does not sound like the actions of a premier AAA studio. It sounds more like what happens to a small team who ports a game to a third string system. God dog, Cody, my goodness, brother, you're going in on Capcom. He says Nintendo was found guilty of price fixing back in the 90s. Carmack supposedly stole. Yeah, they were. Yeah. Carmack supposedly stole man, here we go with one of these words, brother. Proprietary VR dev data when he jumped ship from ZeniMax to Oculus. Apple puts bad juju in their iPhones to make them run slower with each OS update. There's a lot of shadiness going on here. A lot of back alley deals happening right now, brother. God dog. Yeah, I remember reading about that with Carmack. Stealing some of the devs' data back in the day. But let me get back to your email. He says, now those are anti-consumer. Telling Capcom and having them bend the knee and obeying for $4 million in extra ad cash is just sad. It shows that there is a lot of water being taken on at Capcom. This makes me wonder why they are so weak-willed to block off tons of sales on other systems. Do they think they couldn't make $4 million selling on the Xbox, Switch, and Stadia? To me, that is the real question. Oh, wait a minute, Cody. Hold on, brother. Wait. And thank you for this email. Thank you very much, brother. But no. Now, the way I'm reading this, Cody, it seems like you're saying that, that you think that the Resident Evil 8 is only going to be on the PlayStation 5 and the 4. No, it's definitely going to be multi-platform. It was just in that alleged contract that the guy put up. It was saying that Sony made it put a clause in there that Capcom wouldn't be able to go to Microsoft and put Resident Evil 8 in their service, as well as Stadia Pro, I believe it is. They wouldn't be able to put the game in that service day and date. Whereas after a year, the rings are up. They can put it in Game Pass after a year or Stadia Pro and do what they want to do with it. But for the meantime, yeah, they are absolutely not able to do anything like that legally. But the game is gonna be everywhere, though. If I came off on the last episode and that's how it sounded, like I was saying that it was just totally exclusive, kind of similar to how Street Fighter V was to the PlayStation 4. Nah, it's multi-plat through and through. But that $4 million. Yeah, man, I would have thought that Capcom would have possibly seen more value if they did put it in Game Pass. But then again, they would be limiting a lot of sales. I don't know. See, that's the thing. I don't know how it works inside of Game Pass. I know Microsoft is dropping a bag on these publishers and developers to have their games go in day one. I just don't know how much. None of us do. And we don't know what the split is. Like, okay, do they take 50%? Does Microsoft not charge them the 20% that they usually charge for every game sold on their platform? Or, how does it work, as far as the financial, side of it goes? I'm not sure. But for some reason, Capcom, they felt like, hey, they wanted to go with that $4 million with Sony. And like you said, they are pretty loyal to, PlayStation. I mean, they're two Japanese companies, they have a loyalty to one another. And I mean, I'm not mad at that. Not at all, but it is interesting, that $4 million was enough for them to say, you know what, let's rock. And once again, Cody, I want to put an emphasis on, we don't 100% know if that contract was real or not. I ain't gonna lie, that joker looked official like a whistle when I saw it, and it was dated back on April of 2020, so literally a year before now. So I don't know. And back then, Game Pass didn't have the numbers that it has now. I believe Game Pass is up to 22 million at this point in time, which is unbelievable. This thing is really growing at a rapid pace. So who knows, for the next Capcom game that comes out, Cody, they might think twice, because the Game Pass numbers are continuously going up and up and up, and they could see the value there. Maybe, like I was just saying, a year ago, they didn't think the value was there, but now, I mean, look, you're starting to approach like almost 25 million subs in the service. That's a lot of people, so we'll have to see what happens with this. But, to your point earlier on in the email, yeah, all of these companies do things like this. Like you said, EA buying the exclusive license to the NFL, Nintendo going to who makes Bayonetta? Sega. Well, Sega doesn't make it; they publish it. golly, Platinum Games making Bayonetta 2. They went to them, to get that exclusive to their console. So, I mean, the practice is nothing new in the gaming industry, but, Game Pass, on the other hand, this is a total game changer, when it comes to the gaming space and what Game Pass actually offers. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen this time next year? I'm sure they'll probably reach. I don't think it's a reach, no pun intended with that they'll reach 30 million. The way that they're on track and on pace, I think they'll be able to get 30 million before the end of the year. So, we'll see. But Cody, thank you for this email, brother. I feel like I'm rambling. I hate it when I start rambling to you guys, man, but I definitely appreciated this. And, we'll just have to see what happens with Capcom a little later on down the line. And, man, they just had a sale too, and I missed it. They had Resident Evil 1. And this, man, I am so out of the loop. Golly, I did not know this. Resident Evil got a remake back in 2015. I had no idea. I went on to the Xbox store. Capcom was having a Resident Evil sale, and that thing was like $8. I didn't even pick it up. I thought I had time. They had that, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 remake, Resident Evil 4. I was like, darn. I mean, of course, Resident Evil 4, I'm all tongue-tied with that. That wasn't remastered or anything like that, but I had no idea, man, that the first one got the remastered treatment. So I'm had to pick that up. It didn't look darn good, too. Looked real, real good. But, Cody, again, man, thank you for this email. Game Pass. Man, matter of fact, man, hold on, man. I do want to shout Microsoft out again, Xbox. Everybody always says, what has Xbox done for the gaming community? It's like some of these things, I don't know what it is. Look, I give Microsoft a hard time. I give the Xbox brand a hard time because I want them to be better. But when people say, what have they contributed? What have they done? Do achievements, ring a bell, aka trophies that Sony took? Does console online gaming ring a bell? Hello? That Sony eventually took that motto and ran with it. I mean, good grief. Now Game Pass is another thing. I mean, golly, people gotta just stop it after a while and act like, Xbox, / Microsoft hasn't given to the gaming community. It is ridiculous. I see some of these tweets and, sometimes we know tweets are sometimes used just as shock factor, just to say, oh my goodness, I can't believe it, and get a rise out of people. I don't think everybody means every tweet that they send out there. Some stuff is just calculated. But man, for people to say that they haven't done anything but make bad games, it's like, golly, take a moment. Just think about that for a second. No, they might not have the same caliber games as PlayStation does at the moment. No, they haven't won a generation officially yet, even though 360 was very, very close with the PlayStation 3. But that to the side, stop diminishing what they have done, in the gaming space. I mean, people give Nintendo their props for the analog sticks and the it becoming that, but the DualShock or the Rumble technology and the controller. Just give Microsoft their credit when it comes to the things that they've brought to the gaming table. That's all. That's all I'm saying, man. I mean, yeah, the games are what it's all about at the end of the day, but don't just sweep under the rug some of the great things that Microsoft has done. That's all. But once again, Cody Clark, thank you again for this email. I'm repeating myself a lot. And I look forward to hearing from you next week too, brother. Hopefully you'll be able to write in then as well. But let's go ahead, man. Let's get into Sir William X's email here. Haven't heard from you, brother, in a while. Now, the title of his email is Soul Caliber Man. That's the title. He says, "What's up, Kiaun and fam? It's the new..." Oh, shucks, here we go. He said, "It's the new subset Tekken here." You in one subset. The banner is awesome, brother. He says, "First off, the DMX tribute is much appreciated." Oh, yeah, man. He says, "I know he was born and grew up in your area." Yeah, Baltimore. Yeah, brother. He says, "I wondered if you'd reference the late Earl Simmons in some way since you like to keep a specific mood during the show. I'm glad you did. He was a favorite for me in the day. The first album, quote, It's Dark, is a top 10 rap album of all time for me." Yeah, brother. First off, that one right there, man. And thank you for that, man. Man, losing DMX, that was tough for me, brother. It's not too many rap artists that I just believe what they say and I really feel their words. It's very, very few that can reach me, like, man, make me really believe you're doing what you're saying. And DMX, he was just such an amazing storyteller, man. I mean, it was like you could really visualize the things that he was talking about. And then his delivery was just uncomparable. Nobody had the energy of DMX, and yeah, man, he will be sorely, sorely missed by me. I never met the man, never met the brother, but his music, it really spoke to me. I think X came out in my last year of high school. I think 98. And Dark, his debut album, It's Dark, man. Oh my goodness, that first track they used to come on, 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't want to get into it. But yeah, let me continue with your email, brother. Hold on, man. You're sending me down memory lane with X, man. Brother was incredible. He was an amazing talent. And yeah, man, he will definitely be missed by me and tens of millions of fans out there as well. But let me continue with your email here, brother. He says, "I want to answer a few of your cast questions." Let me get it together, brother. Read is fundamental. Let me pull it back in here, Sir William X. He says, "Okay, I want to answer a few of your cast questions from a couple of shows ago. You asked if PlayStation should concentrate more on blockbuster titles or continue to adequately fund smaller studios for AA gaming experiences. I definitely vote for the latter, although my favorite games of the PlayStation 4 era were probably Last of Us and Batman Arkham Knight." Yo, finally somebody else saw the greatness that was doggone Arkham Knight. That game was unbelievable. So many people take a crap on that game, and I understand it. It was the Batmobile that really did it in, but that story, Sir William X, was that story amazing or not, brother? I mean, graphics, voice acting, that game was, to me, still to this day, and I know that a lot of people may disagree, but I enjoyed Arkham Knight more than Spider-Man. The new Spider-Man on the PS4. I still thought Arkham Knight was a better game. But let me continue. He says the smaller games really kept me engaged in the gaming ecosystem. Games like Little Nightmares. Hey, let me tell you something, brother. Speaking of Little Nightmares, just for a second, Sir William X, it is because of you, brother, that I went back to that game because you said, come on, Keys, it's 5 hours long. What are you doing? You should have beat that by now. I'm going to tell you, brother, when I read that email, it was echoing through my brain over and over again. Come on, man, you got to beat that. It's 5 hours long. I went back to that game and, brother, good gosh, that game continues to be unbelievable. Matter of fact, I don't know if you knew this, but just, what was it? Today, the 28th, that game turned, 4 years old. 4 years old, 4 years ago. That game came out and it still holds up. For that to be a smaller title, like we're talking about the AA titles, that game holds up exceptionally well. It's a phenomenal game. For anybody that hasn't played Little Nightmares, that game it's on the same lines of Inside, or it just has that kind of aesthetic to it. But let me get back. Good, I keep on veering off from your email. I'm gonna just read your email from this point, brother. It's like you guys say certain things and it just triggers, certain things like, oh yeah, this gets me excited, man. But from this point on, though, Sir William X, I'm just gonna read your email straight through, brother. He says, Little Nightmares, Apex Legends, and Overcooked 2 were highly played and provided such fun and unique experiences. The smaller games usually provide an experience that I can share with my son and friends. Although I am highly anticipating AAA productions like Elder Scrolls 6 and Dying Light 2, I do not want PlayStation to take away funding from developers who brought us quirky games like Unravel and Inside. I be god dog. Let me finish. I'm not going to get sidetracked. He says, also, man, that's just dope, though, brother. Shout out to you for that. He says, also, you asked if we bought our games used or new. Well, that John Garvin guy will be happy to know that I only buy my games brand new. I like being the first to rip that wrapper off an anxiously awaited brand new experience. No, he said an anxiously awaited brand new experience. But Mr. Garvin may be disappointed to know that I haven't purchased the game at full price since Tekken 7. And that came out in 2017. Unless Little Nightmares counts. Which costed less than $30. I didn't even pay full price for Cyberpunk 2077, and I got that game in the first week of its release. How to work? Okay, all right. Let me finish. He says, nah, brother, wait a minute. How the world was that possible? He says, and I got that game again the first week of its release. He says, moreover, I get Madden and NBA 2K every Thanksgiving for $25. Oh, yeah. I guess, and prep for the Black Friday sales. I can see that. He says, so I do buy my games new, but at a discounted price. He says, now, wait. Hold on, brother. Okay. All right. Now, this is amazing. Okay, this is incredible. How are you able to get Cyberpunk 2077 brand new the first week for less than the $60 price tag? If you could, Sir William X, please let me know how this is possible, as long as it won't cause any trouble. Let's put it that way for you, my good brother. This is amazing. And I do agree with you. I'm getting to that point because if I go too far, I'm going to forget certain things. So I do want to just pause here just for a minute, just to talk about PlayStation and their double A's, continuing to give funding, for AA games. I hope that happens too, because golly, we gotta have similar game taste here, because I have Unravel and Inside and Little Nightmares. Now, I haven't got Dying Light 2. That's a game that I didn't get, or Apex Legends or Overcooked. But, also on the list, you got Batman Arkham Knight. So we're kind of like almost 1 for 1 for a lot of these games. So, yeah, man, what point was I making? Good grief, I'm going off on a tangent. Oh, yeah, them supporting the AA games. Yeah, even though those big games, the AAAs, I love them, man. Oh, man, I absolutely, like I said, Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, what else have they? God of War. All of those games are incredible, and I love them. But those smaller titles, man, like you said, Inside, I had never experienced anything quite like that. It's the smaller titles that really give you a different feel, like Little Nightmares. These quirky, kind of out of the norm type of games that wouldn't be critical successes on the main stage, but they really have a lot of value when it comes to just playing something that's different, a little out of the box, and it gives you just a different feeling. They are really, really, they're needed in the industry. The smaller studios, they're able to bring a lot of creativity, to the game that the bigger companies, that they're too afraid to take those risks and those chances because they can't afford it. They can't afford a $150 million flop, so they're a little afraid to push the envelope. And I think that that's where these smaller titles really shine through. So I hope, similar to yourself, that Sony, they continue to make these smaller titles, invest in the smaller titles, so that we don't lose that creativity that these studios are able to bring to the gaming space, man, to the industry. And I mean, I don't think that they're gonna cut funding. They might cut back, but you still have games like Sifu that are coming out that's obviously a AA, and it looks good, man. Seafood looks really, really good. I'm anticipating that. Very excited for that. And I'm sure they have some other smaller titles in the works. I just hope that, they don't, put out one smaller title, every 2 years. And so I doubt if they do that. That's a little excessive. But, I just hope that they continue, like yourself, putting them out at a regular clip and not, kind of choosing, okay, this one, but this one and this one and this one, we're not going to fund. So yeah, I'm rambling, brother. Let me get back. Now he says, now Subset, Virtual Fighter? How are you going to not only refuse? Oh, shucks. Hey, what's up? Said he calling you out, brother. God, dog, he calling you. Not only refuse to attempt to redeem yourself in Tekken, but propose that we instead go head to head in one of its lesser counterparts. He says, I don't even own any of the other games that you suggested. However, I imagine I'll get Mortal Kombat 11 sometime this year so we can duke it out then. Golly. Hey, what's up, said, hey, brother. He said, how? How are you gonna suggest these other games and you have not, got your get back on the original game that started this whole thing? Good grief. He said you gotta get in the gym. What's up? Said you gotta get in the gym, my good brother. Good grief. You gotta get on the dojo. Let me finish your email, man. He says, lastly, I don't think you should do away with the section in which you share some games that you've played for the week. Okay. He says, it's such a short section, and we can get gaming news anywhere. Plus, when you share games that have piqued your interest enough, actually plays it gives us an idea of a game that we may want to try in the future. That's actually a really good point. I'm going to tell you, man, that's why, once again, I really enjoy hearing back, from you guys, because I didn't really think you guys, really paid attention, to that, because everybody on their podcast always says, well, I've been playing this, or I've been playing that. So I figured that, maybe I don't need to do that, because they hear it from everybody else. But, I appreciate that input, brother. Thank you for that, man. He says, just my opinion, though. I'm going to rock with your show regardless. Oh, man, I appreciate it. He says, this is definitely my favorite gaming podcast, and I look forward to no other more than this one. Ah, man, golly, brother, thank you for that. He says, well, in closing, like the new Subset Tekken always says, wash your hands, feet, and butt. Is that it? No, wait, wash your face, hands, and butt, and please wear a mask. Shout out to you, brother. God, dog, man. Y'all brothers going back and forth. This is just fantastic. Hey, Sir William X. Man, I absolutely loved this email, brother. You said a whole lot in it too. But nah, it's so appreciated. I'm glad to see you two brothers still going at it back and forth. And, it's all in good fun. I'm glad that you guys don't take it all personally and getting all upset with one another, because it's in great fun, man. That's all. Yeah, man. Yeah, I will definitely, reconsider that, man. Letting you guys know what I've been playing. Keep that in the podcast. You did bring back, a video game theater, brother, single-handedly. I haven't been able to do it in a few weeks because I've been under the gun, having to get to work and all. So I haven't had the time to do it, but I definitely am trying to, get back into it. You know what? I'm going to do it on the next episode on Sunday. I promise y'all. It will return, at least for that episode, on Sundays, for Sunday's podcast. But thank you again for the kind words, man. You rocking out, always showing support, always being here, brother. I really, really appreciate it, man. And, like I tell you guys, if y'all aren't listening, the show isn't worth doing. It's not worth recording. So just the fact that you, Sir William X, as well as everybody else here, shows up and supports, it means more than you could ever imagine, brother. So I really want to just say thank you again, and hopefully, we'll be able to hear from you again next week. Thank you so much, good brother. But let's move on. Speaking of, one Subset Tekken. He is going to take us out into the sunset this week. And the title of his email is, oh man, that was just funny to me. Hey, one Subset, you got to get on the dojo, brother. This man said, you pushing the goalpost forward. You got to, play them in the games y'all was supposed to play. How you gonna push the goalpost to some other stuff, brother? Oh, man. Let me get to your email here, brother. I'm losing my voice and everything. Now, the title of one Subset Tekken's email is, do we really want a PS5? He says, hello, Kiaun. I hope you are doing well. I'm doing good, brother. Oh, man. He says, I've been doing some research about the PS5, actually trying to find one to purchase. However, it seems like I'm finding more negative reviews and reports about how the PS5 isn't a console worth the money. What? He says, let's be fair. This current generation launch was a disaster, with console on Xbox and PlayStation are really non-existent. Even at this point, some retailers are restocking, but they're receiving less than 10 consoles. Don't get me wrong. I really like the PlayStation 5, like the PS5, but outside of the exclusive games, I really don't feel rushed to get one. I'll be content with my PS4 until further notice. Maybe it's just my taste, I don't know. As always, wash your face, hands, and butts, and please wear a mask. Man, I gotta tell you, one sub said, brother. Hey, man, hey. I am dying to get my hands on a PS5, man. I am dying to get one of these. Well, I'm not going to get the digital. I can't. I got to get the physical joint, man. But I want to get my hands on one of these so bad. For me, you know what? I guess mileage will vary. You know, one subset, they may not have the games that you're looking for right now. And just the fact that you said you saw some negative reviews and reports. I mean, golly. Okay, for me at this moment, PS5, they are, I mean, look, listen, shout out to Game Pass. God, dog, shout out to that service. Amazing service. It really is. But PlayStation are bringing out exclusives, man. Like you said, to your point. You said, I really like PS5, but outside of the exclusive games, I really don't feel rushed to get one. You know, that's the reason why I feel rushed, you know, to want to get one. Because I want to play Miles Morales. I want to play, not so much Returnal. I mean, I don't know about that game. I don't know. I'll wait on that one. But Ratchet and Clank, oh my goodness, Rift Apart. Oh, speaking of that, I don't know if you guys know this, but today, because it's 12 o'clock, God dog, today is State of Play. PlayStation is having a State of Play event today, and they're going to be talking about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. That's going to be what most of the show is going to be about, so definitely check that out. I'm glad you reminded me about that. One subset, just because of your email, it kind of jogged that memory. But yeah, for me, brother, it is those games, and then you got Horizon Forbidden West. Excuse me, I just belched. Pardon me, guys. But that's allegedly supposed to be out this year. And then you have games like Sifu. And I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I know it's a AA beat 'em up game, but the joint looks amazing. It looks good to me. You know, I'm looking forward to that. So for me, I see more value in the PS5 at the moment than I do with the Xbox Series X, even though, I mean, once again, it's all opinion based, because you got to think about it this way too. What Xbox is doing with that 120 FPS boost, that's incredible. You know, for Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2, I mean, that is one heck of an extra feature that you have on that console, adding into that Game Pass like I talked about. That's a heck of a value. So I think that it's kind of, you know, it depends on your opinion and what you want. For me, I still want the PlayStation 5 more than the Series X, because the Series X, it hasn't given me, you know, a reason to want to go out and get it at this moment in time. Like I've told you guys, if a PS5 and a Series X, both of them are in my face and I have a choice to get one or the other, as much of an Xbox fan as I am, I would get the PlayStation 5, because at the end of the day, more importantly, I'm a gamer. And they have the games that I want to play, at least at the moment. I'm definitely going to get a Series X. At some point in time, I'm sure they're going to have something that I'm going to want to play. but in these early goings, I want to know what that DualSense controller feels like. I want to know how the triggers, how the triggers kind of like lock up, with certain games, or that feeling. Like with Returnal, they were talking about the individual raindrops in the controller, like you feeling the raindrops individually in the controller. I want to know what that's like, one subset. That's a value for me. But for someone like yourself, though, that might not be something you're interested in. Where you're like, man, I don't need that. It's not what I'm interested in. So I wouldn't say that at this point in time, the PS5, that we, it's not, you don't need it. Once again, it's on a case-by-case basis. Someone like myself, I want that joint, man. And for the Xbox Series X, I'm like, I don't really need that at the moment. So, but still, you holding on to your PS4, I don't think that's wrong either, because we just heard the last episode, that Godfall is coming to the PS4. It's happening. After its May 6-month time period is up, it's gonna be coming to the PS4 at some point, which to me, in my opinion, opens up the floodgates for more of those games to come to the PS4. I would not be shocked if Demon Souls Remake was next on the block to come to the PS4. Ratchet and Clank, who the world knows, man? Now, that's the thing. If Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was to come to the PS4, now see, I can't even say that, because Miles Morales is on the PS4 right now, and I won't get it. I will not buy it, because I want to play it at its best level of quality. I want that 60 frames per second. I want that ray tracing. I want all of the bells and whistles that the game has to offer. So yeah, for me, that's what makes me want the PS5. But for someone else that doesn't feel the same way, I can understand that too. But one subset Tekken, brother, once again, I'm running in circles as usual, man. But I appreciate the email. In closing, once again, I think it's worth it. I think, it's worth the money. I think we need it, but you may feel differently, and it's nothing at all wrong with that, brother. Hold on to the PS4, because we know this for sure, that they already said they're going to be supporting the PS4 for another 2 to 3 years. So it's not like they're going to stop putting games on it anytime soon. So during that time period, one subset, maybe in year 2, you feel like, okay, this is the time to jump in to the PlayStation 5. And then the PS5, I was supposed to be wrapping it up, but this last point, one subset, just this last point, brother. They have the PSVR 2 coming out at some point. Now, I'm gonna play that. I'm definitely going to open that up and play that doggone virtual reality, what do you call it? What do you call the peripheral? I'm gonna play that. That peripheral will get used. I'm so interested in PSVR 2, the controllers that they have. So yeah, that just adds to the value for me, one subset Tekken. If Microsoft, please, can you please, Phil Spencer, for the love of all of us, make a doggone VR headset for your console. My goodness, please do that. But listen, one subset, we have been here almost an hour, brother. I got to wrap this up, but thank you so much for your email. Hopefully you can write in again next week, and I definitely look forward to hearing from you then, my good brother. For the record, I want to shout these brothers out again. Shout out to you, one subset Tekken, for being here. Cody Clark, the OG, for being here, and Sir William X. You guys made the show run this week. I'm very, very appreciative. And I just want to say thank you guys again, man. Thank you so much. Now, for you, the listener, again, if you want to be a part of the next episode of Listener Feedback, which will be next Wednesday, you can do it two different ways. Either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard, or email the show. And the email address is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. I was your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. And we got some exciting Last of Us news. Nothing crazy, but it's promising. So with that being said, I will see you guys on Sunday. And for the record, go out there, play some games, and enjoy yourself.